But now, we'll take a look at Battlestation Pacific for the Xbox 360. I had my doubts about this game. Tom told me about it. He's a big fan.
It's kind of a... It's an under the radar, really.
Yeah.
It's an RTS series of, World War II naval combat and aircraft, because, aircraft carriers and all that. The first one is a little under the radar. Like, it was a good game. It got good scores from high-end reviewers.
It was pretty in the middle, yeah.
Like, it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't, a Halo game that got all the, buzz about it. But it was still a good game, and it was worth checking out. This is the sequel. The first one is Battlestations Midway.
Yeah.
And this is the Pacific. So it's still keeping with the theme. And it is a great game. You start off... you start off most missions, not in the campaign. The campaign's pretty straightforward. If you've read a World War II book, you know what the game's going to be like.
Japanese bad, Americans good, they fight.
Yeah. So, where was I? The multiplayer. The multiplayer is the big part of the game, because a lot of people were big fans. The original only had 4-player multiplayer, while this one they've bumped it up to 8, which adds a lot more to it. They've given you, 5 or 6 different modes, which is a pretty big, stack of modes for RTS.
But then again, there are 3 separate ways to play the game: underwater naval units, on-sea naval units, and in air.
Yeah. You've also got, at least a dozen maps.
Oh, yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And
the maps are big. They are really big.
They are not tiny maps. It's going to take you a couple minutes to get from one side to the other. Mm-hmm. And that's with planes. Your boats are going to take forever.
Yeah, naval units are a little bit more slower, but when you get into the heat of battle, it's friggin' intense.
Yeah. And the best part, and it's actually probably what sells this game as a series, is the ability to actually take control of your units. So it's not just an RTS, but it's a third-person, flying boat game.
Yeah, and actually, the part I liked about flying the planes most is the cockpit mode, because it's not if you play Tom Clancy's Hawks or anything, you go into the cockpit mode, there's all these buttons and dials and everything. You go into the cockpit mode,
it's there's one switch.
4 straps of iron and a couple of dials, and you're just like, holy shit, and it's it's super intense, and it actually I felt like I was more in the action than if I was in Tom Clancy's Hawks.
Yeah, it's fantastic series, phenomenal.
Phenomenal count, 1.
Phenomenal, it's just, they took an RTS, and they took an overused time period, World War II, it's milked more than... I'm not even going to finish that sentence.
Don't finish that one. But as we all know, World War II games have been...
World War II is the biggest cash cow for a game developer now, so they've taken, an overused setting and a well-known style, the RTS, and they've mashed them together, but they mashed them together and added stuff into it, which makes it, with A, more replay value.
Well, yeah.
And B, it'll get more people, because if any of you have been following us, he hates RTS games.
I really don't like RTSs at all. But this game, I downloaded the demo just so that I could, sort of half review the game as well, because, I'm not going to spend $60 on this game. However, after playing the demo, I just got addicted to it. There's just, if you don't like micromanaging shit, you don't really have to.
Yeah.
You can sort of just, plot
2 ways you can really
jump
play
in.
Well, there's about 3 ways you can play the game. There's one, which is I spend, half my time in this mode, is you get a map of the map that you're playing on.
I thought was boring.
Yeah. Well, it's the best way to micromanage your stuff. Essentially, and it shows you where all your stuff is, all the islands, all your bases, and shows you anything that's within your line of sight. So, the easiest way is to, micromanage, grab these units, send them here, send these guys there, send these guys there. Or you can play, sitting on your boat, waiting for your boat to get somewhere. Or you can actually, take control of your aircraft and fly them around.
Bombing the shit out of stuff.
Just beat the shit out of everything.
Yeah, carpet bombing aircraft carriers is super, super fun.
It's fun.
You see this little line of bombs just go... Oh, yeah. If you're in the submarine, you can get this thing called a torpedo cam, which follows the torpedo, and you can see it just whipping through the water, and then as soon as it cranks the stern of a ship, oh my god, is that satisfying.
Yeah, and a really nice part is with all the ships, all the naval craft, they give you locations as you're targeting the ship. If you take your crosshair across the ship, it'll point out the magazine where all the ammo's kept, the fuel. It'll mark out, important places to aim for, so you can actually try to maximize your shots, so it's not just Battlefield. As great as a series as it is, you're just blindly pelting a boat with bombs. So
the thing is, if you're like me and you don't like micromanaging, you can play this game. But if you're like him and you like to finely tune every little thing, you can still do that. Yeah. So having those 2 factors in the same game and being able to play online against 2 people who have totally different playstyles.
It's one style of game that actually hits twice the market, which is great.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're like, me and him could have a battle, and
I can do
nobody,
my thing, he can do his
yeah,
thing, and
nobody would have the distinct advantage.
Right.
Because I mean, I'm good at playing games like that, and he's good at playing, games where you sort of micromanage everything, and it works so well. And I think the coolest part about this game is obviously you can do the story where the Americans take out the Japanese, or you can have the Japanese totally wipe history clean and win the war, which I think is wicked because that sort of puts this whole alternate history thing on it. And I'm definitely like when I get this game, when I rent it, I'm not going to buy it, but when I rent it, I'm going to play as the Japanese because I want to see what happens. according to IDOS, what happens when the Japanese win the war.
IDOS and Warner Brothers.
But
predicting the future of the past. Haha.
I'm just going to say one thing right here for EB Games in Canada. This friggin' sticker on the goddamn case again.
Griping issue. Fear
What?
2.
Oh, like
You guys did it.
Is it so expensive to like put a piece of paper inside the game or to have a sticker on there? Like, why do you have to put it on there? It's an eyesore. It's like downloadable pinup nose art for your plane. Who gives a fuck? I don't. Get it off my case.
It's the most long-winded too. Exclusive downloadable in-game pinup nose art. That's fucking long-winded.
It's like, here's a free picture of a half-naked girl you can put on your plane. That's kind of cool. But it's like, anybody who bought this game, they're going to have this on their plane. Be like, hey, he bought the game too, like a jackass or something. It's just like, why put it on the case? You ruin the case.
And really, so far as I know, this comes with every copy of the game. I don't think it's,
just exclusive.
time sensitive.
Yeah.
So
like in the States, it'll say GameStop instead of EB Games, probably.
Yeah. So it's just there. Like, why not just pack it into the game and not make it so everyone's like, hey,
like the first 100 copies or something. That would be all right. Yeah. I could see that. But if it's on every disc, it doesn't need to be mentioned.
It's pointless. So, but moving on, it's a really good game. It's a unique play style. It hits multiple markets. The RTS fan, the third-person fan, and
even I like it.
Yeah, it's just great watching. The Navy is kind of a lame subject for video games. Boats aren't the most fantastic sale point in a video game ever, but they've actually hit a pretty good peg on this one. Then they hit it well.
Yeah.
And the added bonus of being able to take control of these units individually, not just as an RTS, lumping them all together. You can actually personally command, this aircraft, this boat. Really just adds that little touch to it to make it its own unique game.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, like, the AI is so good that when you start taking control of one single unit,
think too.
The other units will sort of react according to how you're playing, and you're not really going to be screwing yourself if you ignore those other units. Yeah. They'll handle themselves.
Yeah. If you actually pick up the demo and try, you can, the first time you play the game, you're gonna, pick up your little style of how to beat the enemy, and then in the next game you're gonna try that same style. But since you're using it right off the bat, the AI is gonna know what to do, and it's actually gonna kick your ass because it did to me. And it's just interesting. They've set up the game well. The AI pulls together nicely. The scenery is very well done. I mean, they couldn't have screwed that up. Most of it's water with a few islands, so they actually did a very good job on the scenery of what the islands look like. With the
everything looks really crisp. I mean, when you start crashing into the islands, it's a little splotchy, but
the details, like the night fights, stormy fights for the naval.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so cool.
Especially when there's like bullets and explosions in the sky. Like if you're in the sky in a night battle, wow, is it intense? Like there's just, it's actually like riveting. It's like watching a World War II movie.
It is a very good game. I definitely suggest at least renting it or just at least watching someone play it. If you're really into an RTS or third-person games, definitely pick it up. It's called Battlestations Pacific for the Xbox 360 and PC.
Mm-hmm.
And
fortunately, I don't think it's for the PS3. So
no, not
sorry,
yet.
guys.
Though they have expressed interest, but I don't see it coming anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.